Hello, this is Lori, and I'm going to show you a few things about using templates, .page files, that you might have bought from any designers out there. Many designers now offer .page files along with the .psd or .tiff files, and it makes it very handy to pull those right in to Artisan or Storybook Creator. So I'm using Artisan 5 right now, but everything pertains to Artisan 4 also, and even to Storybook for the most part. I'm using a FiddleDD template. It's one of the freebies back with 138. And what I'm going to show you is just a few different ways to use this template, things to think about, especially with the instructions. So when I pull a template in, I can go to my home ribbon and I can either add a page using a .page file from my computer, and when I go get them, whatever template I pull in, it's going to pull to the end of the project, to the last page. So I already did this. I've pulled in this template. An alternate way is if you have a page further up in your project and you don't have anything on it and you want to put it in a specific place, you'd click on that empty page and then you could use template instead of. But in this case, I'm going to go back down to the one that I had pulled in previously and show you from here. First of all, there are some instructions over here, and this is a live editable text box. And those instructions have to do with the shadowing. So while FiddleDD does apply shadows to her templates and her previews, this is one of her previews, we don't actually save the templates with the shadows on. And the reason for that is if you were to pull a paper in and then were to flatten it, and that shadow was already on, the edge will get fuzzy where the shadow is. The other reason is that if you were to have an angled photo, and many times these are angulated, the live photo spots, if you were, and then you were to fill this with a photo, the edge can start to look jaggedy. Now it doesn't look jaggedy right now, and it doesn't even look jaggedy if I zoom it all the way up right now, but there are times when you're filling it that it will have a jagged edge. So you'd want to flatten it, and then again, if the shadow's already on it, that's going to give it a fuzzy edge where the shadow is. So that is the recommendation, to not have the shadows on before you fill, and to add the shadows on your own. And also it's really nice to be able to add custom shadows and not just have a standard shadow all going the same way with the same depth. The other thing is that on many designers' templates, the journaling boxes and the title are just flat pings. And the reason for that is it is so easy just to add a text box. If we go to insert and add a text box, and we can shape it the same way if we want to and size it exactly the same. But most of the time, these are really just placeholders. They're more suggestions, and a lot of people are going to do what they want with the text and maybe shape it differently or get rid of it completely. And the other thing is that if a designer were to do a title or a journaling box and they were to have a certain font that you as the person using it doesn't have, then the fancy font that we would have used in these boxes, if you don't have it and you go to open this page, it's going to revert to a font that you already have, and it's going to default differently. And that can really make a difference in how it fills, how much the size of it fills certain spaces. So rather than take that chance, most designers that I've worked with have said just leave all the words as flat pings, and then the user can pull it in and do whatever they want with it. Another thing that I wanted to mention is a naming convention. So when you save a layout and you want to save it as a JPEG, And if you're like me and you have lots of different projects going on, and maybe you want to post some of these layouts on different websites or share them around on different Facebook groups, then it's easy for them to get lost if you don't name them a certain way. And I have a naming convention that I've been very happy with. I've used it for over the last year or so. What I do is I always start by deleting out the instructions out of this text box because really they're not that needed, and I just backspace through that part of it because this is the name that I care about. This is how I'm going to credit it later on. And then I enter down a few times, and my kit that I use, or however many kits that I use, I would type in above it so that I would have the kit name. And then above that, I'm going to give it my name that I'm going to save as my JPEG. So the way I always name is I start with the year, and then I'm going to use the month as a 2-digit month. So if it's January, it will be 01, and then another space. And then I'm going to use the date, the day itself, and I'm going to put another 0 there on single digits. And then one more space, and I'm going to give it whatever name I want to give it in order to save it as my JPEG so that I can easily identify it in a list later on. I can locate it based on the order that it's in because it's always going to be chronologically through the year. So if I were to take this right now and I copy, now I'm going to go to File, Save As. I just always export multiple pages. It's kind of the workflow that I have. And once I do that, I can put it in whatever folder I want. And my folders are all according to year or according to the project that I'm specifically working on. So let me show you what I'm talking about with that. First of all, I'm going to save this, paste. I'm going to say just the current page, and it will always default to a JPEG. I'll export, and normally I would always save it as best, but since I want it to go relatively quickly for what I'm showing you, I just changed the size. Now let me show you exactly where that is and what that looks like. I have this folder called Pages to Print or Share, and within that I have these years. Here's 2015. Within that I have certain projects. Some of those projects are done and they're all JPEG files. Others are still in progress and I'm still working on them. But that 2015 with today's date and testing, if we look, it went down here. So it's all in order chronologically, and then I have a few that I didn't quite name the same way on purpose so they would fall at the bottom of the screen when I'm looking. But here's that JPEG. You can see it right there, and the name of it helped me locate it. Now also, the name will put in page and then whatever page number it is in the project. So that's very helpful if you're just not renaming at all and you're just shooting it off to whatever folder you want to put it in. It will always have whatever page number it is. And you can see this one over here is page 24, this was page 8, this was page 20. Now that's based on the position it's in that project as you're working on it. But I wanted to show you where it goes and how my naming convention is. And I love this live text box over there for doing that. Take care. Have a great day. Bye-bye.